Hello. How's it going? I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, nice. Um,
Let me give, let's see, where's this thing start session? Alright, I'm gonna give you an Excalibur link here. Feel free to join. Know that the name you put in will be visible on stream, so make sure you put in appropriate name.
oh, okay. Sounds good.
And you wanted to do YouTube, right? Let's see, was it
Uh,
you? That was you. Okay, cool.
yep.
That's fine.
Um,
Sounds good.
let me see. Yeah, it's my first time using this tool, so I'm not very familiar with it.
This is
Okay.
the typical tool you'll be using for
Uh,
all system designs. Unless it's in person, that'll be on the whiteboard, right? But Excalibur is pretty standard.
oh, okay, because my review, I'm allowed to like pick the website, but yeah.
D-
So I drew a diagram. Can you see the I mean like a rectangle.
Did
Can
you
you
draw it
see it?
already? I didn't see it. Let me,
Oh.
are you in my
Uh,
link? Let me check. With this in your wrong one.
and also I didn't get prompted for putting my name, so I don't know if
Okay,
that's
let me
related.
make a new session. I don't know. This one would be a bit old. Let's try again. Excalibur. Share. Let's see. Start session. Copy link. Okay, try this second one.
Mhm.
I'll delete the first one.
Okay, let me see. I think it's the same session because I see the rectangle that I just drew. So,
That's kind of
um,
weird. Okay, do you want to make an Excalibur link and I'll join it? So you can
sure.
go to excalibur.com. Yeah,
I'll just okay.
that's a bit weird, yeah.
So should I do start
Yeah,
session or
it should
export to
be
link?
the start session for the live collaboration one. That should be the first one.
Oh, okay, I see. Now I see the option to put my name. Uh, I'll just do this.
Sounds good. Let me go ahead and go to. Cool. Yeah, I see a rectangle.
Okay, nice.
Let me check
All right.
something here. You can see this, right? I put a little text here. Nice. Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
I
that'll
can.
work.
Yep.
All right, then that's good. Your volume is good. Let me go ahead and set things up on my side.
Okay, sounds good.
And so in this case, yeah, I won't be asking you for introduction or anything. We'll just basically get right into it once we have enough viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Where's this thing? Here it is. Cool. Okay, I'll keep this on the side. Today I'm gonna try streaming on YouTube instead because oh wait, what's this thing say?
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It's totally fine. I'm just where's this thing?
Yep. Take your time.
Basically, the one of the issues with Twitch is that they doesn't save the VODs for very long, and because people want to
Oh.
watch it on YouTube anyways, I
Mm,
have to move it over. So
yeah.
yeah, not a big deal. What is this? Don't care about that. Okay, cool. And then let me go ahead and broadcast. Let's see, where is the event? Start this event. Oh, actually, I need to make the edit the location. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to edit events. Yes. And then my URL is where the hell's the URL? Video link here. Next, save event. There we go. And then I can go to, oh, did it start it? Nice. Okay, let me go ahead and start then. Announcements. Everyone, we're back. send, publish. Cool. All right, we'll give it a second now. But we are live now, so just be aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how
Yep.
YouTube goes. I don't really like Twitch. It's really annoying to moderate on Twitch because there's so many bots that try to like sell
Oh.
viewer links and whatnot, and I don't really care about that, but it's really annoying. Another thing is that yeah, like I said, they don't keep the recording along, so I have to either record it like save it to
Mm-hmm.
my computer locally while also streaming, or I have to download the stream from Twitch and then splice and then upload it. So yeah, it's just
Oh,
honestly
I
a bit annoying.
see. So that's how the videos that I see on YouTube gets like
Yeah, the
uploaded from your
earlier
side.
ones, I didn't think of recording them
Mm.
because I thought Twitch would just save them, but that's not what happens. They delete them after I think
That's
it's like
weird.
a 1 week limit. So some of them are actually just lost to time
I
because I didn't
see.
realize. And then so some of the early ones I had downloaded my previous VODs and then split them up and then re-upload them to YouTube. And then all the recent ones are I just record them locally while I stream, which works pretty good. But yeah,
So how many?
go ahead.
Yeah. So how many of these like mocks did you do?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see.
Like since you started like collecting the questionnaire.
Let me see. 6, 7,
Yeah, just curious.
12 of them. 12 of them since starting the forum, and I think before the forum, I think we did 4 between me and Cookie. Um, yeah, I think yeah, was it? Yeah, it was.
I
It was.
see.
Yeah.
So do you like a few like 5 every week?
I generally don't do as many as 5. Sometimes I have time, I'll do more.
Okay, yeah, I'll just
Yeah, most of the
say.
time though, what it is that I like it's a lot. It's an hour per, and it takes a bit of time before and after as well because I have to prepare questions. Because
Hmm.
I don't use my company questions for this, just to be clear, because that is their IP.
Yeah.
Though I am asking if I can use their code signal because they have professional code signal and I don't, and it's much better than CoderPad because you can
Oh,
put
okay.
templates in the thing. So that, you know. Anyways, so it is quite a big time commitment, but it's not that big of a deal because I like doing
Mhm.
it. But at the same time, right? Like sometimes this is a weekend and I have stuff to do on the weekend sometimes, which is why I couldn't do it yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, some
'Cause I saw you have like 4 for today, so that's quite a lot
I
of
do have 4 for
work,
today. Yeah, most
I
of the
think.
time though, I try to do like for example two, like one on Saturday and then do the resume review on Saturday, right? And then and then on Sunday I do usually well I usually don't do them on Sunday. And what happened was that demand got so big that I had to do them on Sunday just to keep up. But now I realize that like if you have
Mhm.
an interview on Monday and you can't get in this weekend, that's your fault, not mine. You know what I mean? So sign up earlier. That's all I can say. And also, some people don't. I don't know. I think this is maybe lost in translation, but you know, like if you have an interview later in the week and you can't get a practice in before then, it's still worth it to practice because the next time you get interviewed, you'll still
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
So I mean, this.
Yeah, 'cause for this one, I didn't know I would
Oh
be
yeah. Okay.
selected this
Yeah, it
weekend,
kind of goes down the list.
so I wasn't planning to do it.
I want to like make a public spreadsheet. I'm not sharing it right. Yeah, I'm not sharing. I want to make a public spreadsheet with all the private information redacted so they can see where they are in the queue. But I haven't figured out how to
Oh,
make Google
okay.
Sheets only forward one column because I think yeah Discord usernames are not private. So
Oh.
yeah, if it, yeah, but
Mm.
or I have to update them manually, which I know I'll fuck up. So I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but it is. I know that's the next thing that people want to know about. Um,
Yeah, that would be a great
That would be.
improvement.
I'm gonna do something about that.
But it will speed
I
up the
will speed
time
up the
anyway,
time. The
so
time is yeah, because I'm the only
not.
one doing these at this point, so they're just basically based on whatever I'm doing. And I know that the queue's kind of big. Right, the queue's like 10 plus or so, because well, I didn't do them for like 3 weeks,
Mhm.
so I was out last couple weeks. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Uh,
Let me see. Oh, someone's asking. Well, would we have gotten a DM if we were selected for mock? Yes. So I don't. Do I? Oh, actually, I might have your email. So what is your name? Your name is that. Let's see. If you sign, did you sign up? Let's see. What's your name? Oh, you are on here. You are currently 33 out of. So you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're fourth in queue. I can tell you. You're fourth in queue. Yeah. Yeah. This is the kind of problem I want to solve, right? So you can check yourself where you are in the queue. Um, But yeah, but like being fourth in queue means that you're likely going to be either next weekend or next weekend, depending. Because like the thing is, sometimes people sign up and they just ghost me, right? So sometimes if I reach out to them and say we want to schedule, and then they don't say anything, they're like, okay, well, I'll give you 3 days, and then if you don't show up, I'll put you at the end of the list again. So, all right. But anyways, okay, we're 13:06. We've got some viewers. We can get started on this one. This will be recorded anyway, so I don't actually really care about live viewer count. This is mostly just for engagement purposes, like when people want to ask questions live. But anyways, okay, we can get started right away then. Any concerns or questions you might have ahead of time, or we can just get straight into the problem because you've done this before, a different mock.
Oh, wait, for me?
No, just
or
for you.
the viewers?
The viewers, we don't care about those people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't have any questions right
Okay,
now.
great. So then let's get.
Except for the
Okay, great.
question itself.
Then let's just get right into the mock interview. So today's mock interview, the first one today,
Okay.
we're gonna be designing YouTube. This is gonna be a system architecture design, new grad level. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So YouTube, as we know, it's a video on demand streaming platform, right? And for the purpose of this problem, we're only going to be focusing on the video upload and streaming kind of facets, right? So we won't be talking about live streaming, for example, which is what we're doing right now. So that's out of the scope.
Okay, sounds good. So just to clarify some requirements. So for the platform, so for YouTube, I think it's just mobile and like web.
Yeah, that's right. We can just focus on just the web for now.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just web is fine. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna update this. And then so for the features, so okay, so it said upload and streaming, and then so for each video, I'm assuming it'll have the content itself, and also the title, and descriptions, and comments, and number of likes, and like those metadata.
Yep.
And probably some more. And so for other data, like data related to users, I'm assuming we're storing username, and maybe saved playlists.
Yeah, so for this one, we don't need to worry about playlists or anything. We can just assume that every video.
Okay.
Videos. Yeah.
So username and other metadata.
Is this still part of the video? Like the username?
So
like the uploader is what
Sorry?
you mean, like the username.
So the user that will be watching the
I see.
videos.
So users, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Assuming like a user can both upload a video and watch videos.
So I think I was just a bit confused because you had the video word here, and these are all like points under it. So I was just checking. That's fine. I understand.
Okay. It's this. And so like the video interaction stuff, I guess like the playlists and the comments, I guess. I don't know if YouTube has a like which videos that the user liked. Just putting it here still. So do we need to store any other information?
We can start with this
for the
now.
user.
It's not. I wanted to focus on the main flow for the video uploading and video streaming.
Yep.
That's the main thing.
Okay, sounds good. And so let's go into some of the performance stuff. Do we want to prioritize consistency or availability? For YouTube, I'm assuming we'll prioritize availability because, like I never see YouTube goes down or something.
Yeah, availability.
So, unless we want to prioritize consistency.
No, I think availability is a good call here.
Okay. And then, so I'm assuming it's read heavy compared to writes. from what I observed from YouTube.
Can you just clarify what that means?
Oh, like so the read to write ratio is greater than 1.
Yep, that's true.
We'll jump into the numbers later, but just for now. And so it should be very scalable, right? Because we're looking at worldwide users instead of just one region. Just to
So the
clarify.
scalability you mean is geographic scalability?
And also like for region, like if we have one video that's very popular, we also might want to make sure that like we're able to serve that like peak view, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, we can continue with that. Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm assuming we want low latency. Because as a user, if I watch a video and it takes a long time to load, then that's not a good experience for me. Unless we don't want to
I mean,
focus
that'd
on
be
this.
good to have, but in terms of priority, I would say availability is most
Okay.
important over everything else.
Okay, availability. Okay, sounds good. Okay. So with those, let's do some calculations. So, how many total users are we looking at?
Total users, are you talking about uploaders or downloaders?
Like both, and then we can do like a uploader downloader ratio.
So we can say total users as 1 million.
Okay. And then, so how many, how much of those users are viewers, and how much of those are uploaders?
Let's say 1% of users are uploaders.
Okay, so wait, yep, that's
I think it's
uploaders.
supposed to be 10,000.
Oh, right. Uploaders. Okay, and then
Just to be clear, all million users are still viewers. It's just that only 1% of them are uploaders.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Sounds good. Okay, and so how many of those users are like daily active, or like what percentage?
What percentage? We'll say 1% of them are daily active.
Okay. So the uploaders, that was 10%, or I
The
forgot.
uploaders was 1% of
Yeah,
all
1%.
users.
Oh, okay.
And we'll
Okay,
say
sounds good.
1% of all users are active in daily. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And so that means so each user let's say they view maybe 10 videos per day.
Okay, sure. We can say, instead of that, we can just say they watch like 1 hour a day.
Okay. Sounds good.
That way we don't care about the length of the video.
Okay. Yeah, each video, like each hour video, we assume it's 500 megabytes. Would that be a good estimate?
Yeah, sure. We can say, yeah, that's fine.
That would be so by the way, for this kind of interviews, would I be allowed like calculator?
Yeah, you can use it.
Just from my.
That's fine.
All right, so. So it's 10,000 users. And every hour is 500 megabytes. All right, so every day will be just counting the zeros. Like 5 million megabytes. So that's uh five
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the like conversion.
500 meg. This is 500 megabytes
Oh.
per, essentially per person. Right, 500 megabytes times 10,000. That is giga. So that's 5 terabytes.
Okay. Yeah, sounds about right. So that's per day. All right. And so that's for read, like
Yep.
streaming, and for uploading. Um, so we have 10,000 uploaders, and we assume 100. Sorry, 1% of them are active per day still. So that's 1,000 daily active users for the uploads. And can we still do like they upload
Yeah,
1
that's
hour
fine,
video per
sure.
day, and every video is all right. So that would be let's just say 0.5 petabytes per day of uploads. All right. Okay. So those are about the about the bandwidth, but like in per day, not per second. I'm sure that can be calculated. So for the total storage, can we assume that the videos will be kept for 10 years?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so the upload is 0.5 terabytes per day, and 10 years times this many days in a year, so that will be. We're just gonna use my calculator real quick. It's about 2 PB. I forgot
Petabytes?
the like full. Yeah, petabytes. About 10 petabytes total for 10 years. Okay, so with those in mind, I'll jump into the high level design. Would you like me to do the API design and like database model design first before I jump into the like drawing diagram?
I want to highlight the database design, so you don't need to go through every detail, every primary key, but I want to know what columns you'll be storing, and the API shape. But you don't need to design the API; just the shape is fine.
Okay. So the database. So for the videos, I'm thinking storing them in a blob storage like S3, because their format is like very unstructured, and every video is an object. So I think that would be the blob storage would be the best for that. And for the metadata for video and users, I'm thinking using relational database, because we have some relations like the comments to a video and what videos a user liked. So for those, for the video metadata, also we'll have a ID column, and the content column title. Oh wait, no, the content is the. So we'll have a column for the video ID, which will reference the video in the blob storage. Should they be different IDs?
Sorry, is this
Actually, the
is this a
ID.
table? This is the metadata table?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, like this is like the section. I can.
Okay. I got it.
So okay, so and then a column for the title. And column for a column for the description.
Mm-hmm.
And some other columns for other metadata.
Okay.
Oh, and also the author, which will link to the user table by a like video created by author relation. So so this table will have a video ID column and a author ID column. So this way we can join the user table and video metadata table. And then for the user table, user metadata table. We'll still have the user ID and username columns. And some other metadata like the region and language. I won't list all of them here. And the videos that they created can be queried by from the author created video table. So that should take care of that. All right, and for the I think these are like the essential information for the tables. Is there any other tables that you'd like me to design?
One thing. Well, not maybe not our table necessarily, but where will the video itself be stored?
Oh, so I think I mentioned this in the before, but yeah. So I'm thinking I will store them in a blob storage like S3.
And how will you get the S3 information from our tables? And how will you get the path to your S3 video from these tables?
So you mean like design the path to like for a specific video?
So you can upload video to S3 and you can decide the path, right? Right.
Yeah, like mostly depending on the ID.
So it'll be the same as the ID. Okay.
To organize the videos, maybe I can have some like parent path to help with the partition for S3. But mostly it's depending on the ID.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
Okay. Can I? Okay. Can I do the API
that's fine.
design? No.
Yeah, let's do the API.
So I said we're gonna focus on upload and streaming. So for upload, it will be I'm thinking using a post request, and so it will look like API version and then video. That's how they post the video, upload the video, and for streaming, I'm thinking doing a get request to the same and then ID of the video they want to fetch.
Okay. Are there any necessary critical parameters needed for both of these operations? Anything you want to mention? Not necessarily they might exist, but is there anything that you're relying on?
Maybe the resolution of the video being requested as well. Let me think if there's any others. yeah, within the video, they can select like the resolution
Mm-hmm.
and speed.
And can we just are we assuming that's just another?
So within the like parameter.
Are we assuming that's just another
Sorry?
GET request when they update that, or what?
Like within the GET request, they'll specify like parameters. So something like.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so on. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we can go with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay, I'll do the high level design now. So let's start with when a user sends a request from the client, which is web. So for better latency, they will get it from a CDN. So let's do upload first, so that we have like some storage to work with. So for upload, oops. So first they'll upload the original video to a S3 storage. And then since we want to support different resolutions and probably different formats for the video, we'll use a encode and transcode service.
Okay.
Like on user upload. So and then so after that the video will be put into a S3 as well, but probably a different bucket or destination just for the encoded videos. Okay, so that's and for the upload performance wise, because the transcoding and encoding takes time, so we'll probably want a queue in between somewhere. A queue for the encoding and transcoding.
Can you explain a bit about how this task queue will work?
Yes. So after so every video that the user uploads will be put into the queue, and then depending on the speed that the encoding and transcoding goes, you'll pull the videos from the queue to process, and after it's done, it'll put the video into the S3 bucket and pull more videos from the task queue.
Is a queue to enter the transcoding service.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Is that?
Oh,
okay.
So.
Is that Well, what's the difference between? Well, can you explain a bit why that's needed? So I understand why you have that, but why is that needed? Why can't the transcode service itself just pull items from S3 as it need? Because a task queue has to pull from S3, in what you're saying. So what's the distinction in this case between the task queue pulling versus the service pulling?
I think both both will work. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I was just assuming that without the task queue, the service would have to handle all the videos that the client sends, and if they can't handle them, they'll have to be dropped. But yeah, because we stored the videos in the S3 first, so the S3 is like acting like a queue at this point, so it should be fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's move on.
All right. So for the streaming, so like I mentioned, because we want better performance and lower latency. The user will get it through CDN. Oh, actually, sorry for the upload. Because we also have some metadata for the videos and the users, so that will be updated as well. And I said those will be in relational database.
Okay, this is the metadata stuff, right? Okay.
Yep. Okay. So the client, when they upload a video, they'll like have some information like the title and description, and those will be directly from the client to the, well, they'll have to go through some servers, like application servers. So on the high level, it's from the application servers to the database. And for the after the transcoding service is done, it will also put the information like the ID of the video, transcoded video, into the metadata database.
It'll put the
Okay, and the database will probably need to be replicated and sharded to handle the load. And the servers we will use a load balancer because I'm assuming we'll have different server clusters around the world to serve the many users. So here we'll use the load balancer, like not a load balancer, but some load balancers. Okay, and so for the CDN stuff, so when the client wants to watch a video, they'll get it from the CDN. So that's looks like this. And if the CDN doesn't have it, it will get it from the
so
from
this is
S3.
the read flow now. This is the view flow now.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Sorry for the jumping around.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, something like this.
Do I put the CDN above, just like over here?
Sure.
Easier. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to the CDN.
So not just.
How will it be in the CDN at all? There's no write to the CDN right now.
When the first time a video is requested, it won't be in the CDN, so the CDN will get it from S3.
Okay, so it's.
Or maybe from the.
So their CDN is a cache essentially. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And they'll also need when they view the video, they'll also need to load the metadata from the database. So, like this.
Is there a different color arrow? Yeah, there's a different color arrow. Do you want to use a different color for the read?
Oh, okay. For read. Let's do green. Actually, it wouldn't just go to the database. It will go to the load balancer first, which directs the traffic to the servers. So, okay, and then because we have a very high read to write ratio, so we'll probably want to use a cache to offload the database. Oh, okay, green. Um,
This
yep, so something like
this
that.
is a metadata cache.
Yeah, that's right.
Read-through cache.
Yes, because it's read heavy. And we don't expect much, that much writes compared to reads.
Okay. So one thing you mentioned. So okay, maybe I should let you finish. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about regarding the sketch?
No, that's
Okay.
everything.
Cool. Okay, this is a good first start. One thing I want to just kind of follow up on here is we kind of assumed the need for a CDN. Is the performance that we require, does that justify the use of a CDN here?
Yeah, because we said we'll design YouTube, so I'm assuming we'll serve users around the world, and so then, and we assumed low latency. So having CDNs like around different geographical locations will be very important for the latency.
Yep, that's right.
If that makes sense.
Is there an issue perhaps if is there any, because right now there's no consideration essentially being put towards, because you mentioned, and I think you didn't write this down, but you mentioned in passing that one of the benefits of having this regionalized system is that videos that are popular in different regions can be, so we essentially said, was made more easily accessible. Is that a consideration here? Is that perhaps a consequence of this design, or is there something else that we can do to kind of encourage that?
So you mean, like, for example, one video is more popular in one region compared to the rest of the regions?
Yeah, so like for example, the reason that we were talking about, I think let me see if you put it here somewhere. No, you didn't. Okay. So like for example, a Spanish video would be more popular in South America and Spain, obviously, right? That wouldn't be necessarily as popular in like Asia, right? And so because you're saying that we have these CDNs per region, that helps the latency. Does that help, hurt, or is neutral towards the fact that Spanish videos are more popular in Spanish-speaking areas?
It helps because the CDN in like Asia wouldn't have as many Spanish videos.
Yeah. So that's by coincidence that because people are more likely to pull certain videos, they'll be more likely to be inside the CDN. That makes sense. Yeah. Is there perhaps a different metric we could also use to ensure that that's the case? Or not necessarily ensure, but greatly increase the probability that videos within a region are more likely to, popular videos in the region are more likely to be within the CDN. Because, for example, in your current situation, if a person watched a unpopular video in a region, that would also be in the CDN. When in reality, if you were highly confident that no one else wants to watch that video, you shouldn't put in the CDN. Is there perhaps another metric you can use for that?
Like I said, an expiration time for the videos in CDN. And if a video, or maybe also the number of requests on that video, so that less requested videos will be evicted.
And what's the difference between a request and a view? Is there a difference?
Not really.
So is there a way we can kind of incorporate the view count of a video to be preferred to be put into the CDN? In other words, can we establish an eviction policy based on the view count?
Oh, sorry, what were we saying?
Yeah, so it seems to me that the videos that should be in the CDN are videos that have the most views in a region.
Right.
Can we enforce that with this design? Can we? What can we add to kind of help that?
I'm thinking like some logic inside the CDN that will handle the counting.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
It's a tough question, but I think it's an important one.
Mhm.
Can we also have a thing, for example, one thing that you didn't put in, which I understand, but it might be useful, is users should be associated with a primary region. Right. Users typically watch videos from within a region. They can move and go on vacation, all that jazz, right? But users are typically within a given region, and in fact, if they do move or they log in from somewhere else, you can update that as you need, right? But this way we can have a view count, right? That's a bit more complicated than just a sum of all the views. We can have a view count that is further broken down by region.
So inside the metadata or inside the CDN?
Well, so wherever you store the view count, right? You currently store the view count based on. Oh, so wait, where do you store the view count? Let me just check. Well, that should be in the video metadata, right? So you store. I mean, presumably, you're right, but that's pretty obvious, right? So I'm saying, right, instead of storing the view count as an integer in the video metadata, can we instead have have a view count table or something that you want, where we can break down a video's view count by region?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so let's make an extension here then. So why don't you make a video? And we can assume there's just two regions for the sake of simplicity.
Okay. Let me see. I'm just thinking how to handle the relationship between video and region.
You can have a compound primary key.
So we'll have another table that's.
You can have a table with two primary keys with compound primary key.
Can I do a table that stores video ID and region and count?
Yep.
Like view count. And that will be called something along the lines of video region view.
Yep, that's fine. So now with this information, right, we say there's two regions, A and B, right? So video ID 1 and Asian in region A can have a certain view count. Maybe it's very popular. Maybe video 1's very popular in region A, and it's not popular in region B. Right. So now we can kind of separate that, and then of course we can have maybe we can also have, just for sake of simplicity, we can also have right. So how should I best write that? So we can say ID 1 region A. Right. That this produces view count.
Sorry, are you typing?
I'm typing inside your just right underneath you. Here.
Right, okay.
Equals to 100. Let's make it 100K. Sure, right. And then we can, in this case, you would still be able to retrieve the total views for your metadata table, or for whatever you want to fetch that, by just summing region A and region B. So you can just make two fetch requests, right? A fixed number of reads in a different table to sum it. So that wouldn't harm your performance in this case.
Okay, so like doing a query over all the regions for the same video.
So that would be,
you mean?
I'm saying this doesn't violate your design previously, because you're making a fixed number of read requests to find the total video sum.
That makes sense.
So with this table, how can you augment your current structure a bit to make sure that the right videos are in your CDN?
At some point the CDN can be populated with the videos from a certain region. So that means the CDN will make a request to the application servers, which will return from the cache the videos for that region, and then the CDN will fetch those videos from S3 and populate.
I think you cut out just slightly there. Can you repeat the part where you said the CDN goes to the app servers? I didn't quite catch that. Why is it going to the app servers?
Oh, okay. Because you'll need the um list of videos for that
Okay.
region, which is stored in the um both cache and the metadata table database. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I think that makes sense. I want to make sure you. I want to make sure you got it the same way I do. Um, what request exactly is the app server making to the metadata? Like what it's getting a
Um,
read request presumably. What is it reading?
the videos from the region for the CDN.
Well, all videos are in every region.
Oh, oh right. Um, the like more highly requested ones.
Okay.
By the like view counts.
Yep. And
So specifically, like the top like X videos.
yep.
Um, with the like by the view counts.
Yep. And how will it do a? So this is in SQL, right? You're having a relational
Mm-hmm.
database. Will it be doing a sort or a order by? What was it? That's called, right? Order by. Is that what it's gonna do?
Um,
Okay.
yes.
So it's gonna do and okay, so that makes sense. So it's gonna get the top X videos in a region by view count, and then what? So let's say now the videos are completely different than what they were before. They just all changed. Now what?
Um, um, so like when the videos in the CDN expired, it will fetch some new videos, and that's when it gets updated.
Okay, I see. So it's time based on the CD inside. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Cool. Um, all right. Is there anything else you want to add to design? Otherwise, we'll end the mock here, and I'll go through some other feedback.
Um, no, I don't want. There's no more I want to add to the
Cool.
design.
Well, then let's call it here. Let's go over some stuff. So first of all, I mean, how do you feel
Okay.
about your design? How do you feel about the overall process?
Um, because I
Yeah.
practiced before, so it's not as bad as I
Did you
thought.
practice?
For my like first mock
Did you
system
practice a
design.
specific question or like a different one, or something similar to this one?
A few.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So there were a couple of things I wanted to say that were just pretty strong off the bat, right? First of all, obviously, thank you for participating. Right. This is helpful for you. This is
Mm-hmm.
good for me to practice my interviewing skills as well. Um, just kind of get into it. It's good that you started with the overall process, right? So it's good that you started by outlining the what we call the product requirements, right? So these up here are the product requirements. This here are the functional
Mm-hmm.
requirements, right, or performance requirements as you call them, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
always good to start with these two first, and the reason is because you can't actually do anything without nailing this down, right? So it's always good to start with this first. And if you
Mm-hmm.
have any uncertainties about functional performance requirements, you should clarify that before moving on, because otherwise, um, otherwise that might be something which the interviewer kind of pulls out of the back pocket later and invalidates certain parts of your design because you didn't consider something. So, for example, if you're going through this, you could always add in the end, say, oh, if there's other functional requirements or other performance requirements, other product requirements, let me know. But I'll be assuming that these are the only requirements going forward. That way, you kind of shield yourself from like future responsibility.
Okay. Sounds
Um,
good.
but otherwise, yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
is fine. One thing I will say that I did mark down is said that was a good thing. It's good that you asked about availability versus consistency. One thing I will say though, um, is don't commit to too much performance stuff, right? And for new grad level, this isn't really a big problem. But one thing is that, for example, your design doesn't the scalability part is implied, right? So for example, oh, it's scalable because I'm using S3. Yeah, that's true, but not really because there's the S3 is scalable, but some of the other stuff around it aren't. And I'll go over that later. The point being here is don't commit to
Okay.
more performance than you have to. So something like consistency or availability is good to ask, but don't just start volunteering stuff like a scalability or low latency unless they ask for it. Okay.
I see. I see.
And
Should I like ask for the requirements on scalability and latency at all, or should I just
oh well,
uh
what I would say is okay. Do you prefer? Should we focus availability or consistency? I just confirm this is read heavy. What's the read ratio? You can ask this kind of stuff, and then you pause it and say, oh, okay, is there any other performance requirements I need to take care of, right?
okay, okay. So the first two are the most
Well, the
important.
only thing that's performant is cap, right? Do you prefer consistency, availability, or the other one is prediction performance? But that one doesn't matter. That's not part of this thing. So just ask availability or consistency, right? And if it's an application like YouTube where there's a read-write
Mhm.
discrepancy, what are we doing here, right? Like, is it going to be read or write, right? Because YouTube, it's actually much bigger than 100 to 1. I just made it just easy for easy math, but like, right? So for YouTube, the read versus write ratio is a good question, but in reality, you don't need to ask anything. Like, just stop here and get them to say what else they want, because this is where the interviewer has a chance to increase or decrease the difficulty of the problem as they deem fit for you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, in this
I
case, if
see.
since you're doing new grad level,
Mhm.
it's obvious that you don't really the scalability and latency part is not part of the requirements. So the fact that you didn't achieve that isn't really negative points. The only negative part about that is that you didn't realize you didn't achieve it, right? So that's something which I would just be careful.
Okay.
Don't volunteer stuff unless you don't have to, right? So that's the first piece of feedback there.
So if they didn't mention they wanted like low latency, then should I add the CDN stuff in my
The
design
CDN part. So
or
here's the thing about this is another part of the problem is um, you didn't actually quantify
Mhm.
the availability or consistency part. Like, it's not inherently clear why, okay, you did availability, how is this more available than if you didn't use the CDN, right? The CDN doesn't increase availability, it only increases latency. So, like, this is the kind of thing that you want to, like, after you do your design, you want to say, okay, now I want to explain to you how I achieved high availability, and then you talk about what aspects are, right? You can't just like, okay, I'm using S3, it never fails, therefore I'm available, right? Like, yeah, sure, but like that's not really the problem. So, so that's kind of how I would address that is by doing the design like you did, right? And then at the end, just take a quick minute and say, okay, here's how I considered a read heavy application. Here's how I considered this and this, right? And honestly, at that point, it doesn't really matter if you're exactly right or not. It just matters that you try to address the problem in a reasonable fashion. And the reason I say it's
oh,
reasonable
okay, so
fashion is
like
because, for example, I think so confirm me for if this is right or not. You put the CD in for lower latency. Is that the reason? Right.
right.
It's okay. So
Yep.
yeah, that's generally true, but that's not always true, right? So, for example, at a higher level, we might ask you, oh, you put the CD in for lower latency. How much lower is the latency? And that's an important thing to recognize because just putting in the CD in being lower latency is not necessarily sufficient, right? A good question to ask someone is, okay, well, S3 is too slow. What's the latency of S3? Right? The answer is 200 milliseconds. That's not too slow, right? It's only under certain conditions that you have to describe to justify me why you need a CDN, right? Because one thing that you want to ask higher level people, and this is one thing that you can consider, right, is that, oh, I know a CDN is expensive, right? This is the reason why not everything has a CDN because they're very very expensive to operate, and so in this case,
True.
we just stop stealing everything. Well,
Um,
you can't afford to do that. You go out of business tomorrow, right? So
mm,
say, oh, I'm addressing latency by putting a CD in. You can throw it in. Oh, I know it's expensive, but that we're just trying to we're a startup, whatever it is, right? So these kind of things are things which are I would
uh,
consider technically
mm,
true, but not actually helpful necessarily in the spirit of the question. So yeah, this is not a
mhm.
just to be clear again, right? This is not a problem what you've done. Like, this is a pretty good design overall. It's just that again, right? Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm using CDN because it's generally good for latency and therefore it's good for me. That logic doesn't necessarily apply.
Um, so I need to like justify how the um without CDN it's not enough. So that's why I put in CDN despite it's expensive.
Yes, so that's partially true. Right? You can't, like, what I'm saying is that CDNs generally decrease latency, which is true. But what isn't necessarily true is that therefore I will use a CDN to decrease latency. So the justification here, which is more advanced, which is why I'm saying,
Okay.
you don't necessarily have to go down this path, is how much slower, how much faster, how much lower latency is it that you will benefit from having the CDN, right? Is the cost benefit analysis there? And so one thing that I encourage at the end is, for example, I was asking, and this is why I was drilling the CDN part, was why are you, like, what's in the CDN, right? So you initially proposed, by the way, let me know if you are familiar with these terminologies. You initially proposed what's called a read-through cache. So read-through cache is a read path, and if it's not in cache, it fetches it, right? And it stays there until it gets evicted. So it's like least recently used. That doesn't actually help your latency, right? Because on average, people will on average find the more popular videos, but your average latency will still be relatively high because whenever someone finds a unpopular video, it will still need to go through cache, and that might evict a more popular video, right? So in this case,
Oh, so like the eviction policy, I need to
yeah,
mention
well, you
it,
need to mention it
and it
because
has
you
to.
originally you didn't mention it. I asked you to describe the behavior, and you described the behavior of read-through cache. It's not an issue. You don't know the terminology, by the way. I'm just saying. So you described a read-through cache. A read-through cache wouldn't actually improve your latency that much. That's the problem, right? If, for example, you had
I think I said like it's because it's read heavy, so that's why I used with that
not
logic
necessarily,
code.
it can't just be reading because all caches are for is reading. All caches are for reading, right? It's
True.
only the case that your cache
Mhm.
contains the more popular stuff that it helps, right? If your cache only contains unpopular stuff, for the sake of argument, then it will never help you, right? It's the exact same thing as just reading directly from S3, right? So the thing you have to say is that our cache will contain the most popular videos, which will help the most people, right? That's decrease your average latency, right? So that's the part you were missing, and then we drilled down on that part, right, by asking you how do we formulate a more intelligent eviction policy, right? When we went through we added a table about the regional view count, and we did that. So then it would help because now your CDN is catered for every region, which helps the most people by decreasing the average latency, right? So that is the part that would help. The thing before that, where you just have a generic read-through cache, that wouldn't help. Oh,
So is it like odd because I promised low latency? So if I didn't promise that, then would I need to like do others and
no,
justify?
but
Uh,
that could be a follow-up question because you would have finished sooner. Yeah.
mm, I see.
A couple other things. We're a bit low on time. I want to speed through some other things. You're free to reach out to
Oh,
me
okay.
after for more
Yeah.
details. A couple things. First thing
Yeah,
is
sounds good. Hmm.
this 1K number is round. That should be 100 because 1% of 10,000 is 100.
Yeah, I was thinking 10
Yeah. Anyways,
percent.
a second
Anyways.
thing is your calculation of 2 petabytes is correct. However, not exactly because this is you're assuming there's no growth in the service. So you're assuming that we'll only need 2 petabytes over 10 years. Right,
Oh,
that's an incorrect assumption. So you need to be careful about that. What else is there? Right, this task queue description you didn't explain correctly, and the reason is because the slow
okay.
part is the encode and transcode service. Right, this is the slow part, and so what that means is there's two things. The first thing is you didn't justify why you need a task in the first place because the service itself can just pull it in, right? The reason, but the task queue is actually a good idea, so I was a bit confused by this one. The correct explanation for why you need a task queue is because since the encoding and transcoding is so slow, this service here needs to be distributed. And so you need to have a load balancer in front of the. It's not really a load balancer. You can think of it as a queue. Queue is fine, but you essentially need to have a load balancer in front of the input of your distributed transcode service to give all the videos to the correct place, right? So this is the purpose of the task queue, and it's not just a random buffer. Buffering is not needed in this context. The requirement is that you need to distribute all the incoming videos to be eventually encoded, right? And one thing I want to again clarify is that
Mhm.
this is another feedback that's related to this one is that you didn't specify video formats, which is not a big deal because people don't think about that. But keep in mind that people upload stuff from like Macs and you watch them on like Android. It has to work on both platforms, right? So, and so this is why you need a transcode service, and that's why you need to have multiple outputs, right? So one output's gonna be like MP4, one's like probably I don't know what's like H6 265 whatever bullshit there is now, right? So like there's multiple outputs to the transcode service.
Mhm.
So you can have an input buffer for the you have an input buffer to distribute between a distributed transcode service, and you can have an output buffer to upload the many outputs back into S3, because this is a one-to-many operation essentially. So that's
Oh,
why you need the queue.
okay.
The way you described the queue was actually incorrect. What we described it was actually not needed. So just kind of brush up on that part. And and the reason I bring this up is
Okay.
because
Sounds good.
if you were to do this in an interview, that would be negative points because it seems like because it's actually the correct answer. So it seems like oh maybe you prepared it ahead of time, but you didn't understand why. So that's why it'd be considered negative.
Okay. I see.
Okay, cool. And let me just quickly go through. And so yeah, so that's all the feedback I had. I'm gonna quickly answer some questions from chat related to this problem, and then but you're free to drop.
Okay.
So thank you very much for participating, Wendy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
No
this
worries.
talk.
Okay, let's take a look. So we can't see your notes. Yeah, the notes are personal, so I'm just saying them out loud. I'm gonna send them to the candidate afterwards. But yeah, basically all the feedback here I just went through. Can I go to speed run of how the chart is working? Yeah, sure. So the black arrows are the write path. So the web client is the user. All the black arrows are the write path, and the green arrows are the read path, right? So the write path is there's two things that are being uploaded, right? There's metadata for the video, and there's the video itself. The video itself goes to S3. The metadata goes into the goes into the app server, which is the API server in this context, right? So we have two APIs. We have post video and get video. This is right here. This black arrow is a post video request, right? The post video in this case, there's metadata that's being written. That's essentially the only thing that there is in the API, right? And these two black arrows here I just went over just briefly. These encode and transcode the video. So for example, the user can upload a video in basically any format, and then the service transcodes it into a format that's visible by everyone. And and as Andrew Pham said here, it also converts it to some common resolutions and formats that are needed. That's the purpose of the encode transcode service. For example, you might hear, for example, there's various, for audio, for example, right, there's MP3, there's .wav, there's OB, etc. These are all various formats that describe the same kind of file. And the reason you might convert between them is different. For example, some formats might be running more efficiently on certain hardwares. Some might be more efficient to read write in. Some might be more compressed or decompressed. Right, so these are the reason you might consider using different file formats to be able to better cater to the needs, right? And the reason that you do this in the first place is because storing stuff is cheap. Like S3 is cheap as dirt, so it's good to store many formats and then hand off the format or hand off the file and code it in that format to the end user as needed. So this is why. Yeah, I understand that Canada didn't say this explicitly, but this is the implicit reason why we do encoding and transcoding. The task I just explained as well. The way they explained it was not quite correct, but it is actually a good idea, and this is why you would use it. And so yeah, that's the right path. The read path is very simple. The read path goes to the read API, gets the metadata, and the video sits in the CDN. So that's how the read happens. The follow-up question I gave to this candidate was about the CDN, where it was about what videos do we put in the CDN. Not all videos can fit because it's a cache. It's much smaller than S3. So what do we decide to put in here? What do we decide to evict? That's what we were talking about in terms of this this new table that we designed. Cool. So that concludes this one. I'm gonna pull in the next person and go from there.